This module provides details of the controls and indications of the AFCS system to pilots that are new to the ATR 72-600. The learning objectives for this module are to understand how the system works, components, and integrated systems. The primary control interface for the AFCS is the Flight Guidance and Control Panel located in the center of the glare shield. Two index control panels, located on either side of the forward instrument panel, are used by the captain and first officer to set their specific speed, altimeter, and approach minimum parameters, change for DH or MDA. There are also buttons on the control wheels and the power levers for autopilot disengagement, control wheel steering engagement, and activation of the go-around mode. Primary source of input for operation of the AFCS in the FMS-related modes is either MCDU. All radio tuning, flight plan inputs, and automatic speed changes that come from the FMS are entered using the MCDUs. By far, the most important part of the automation use is knowing what your system is doing and what it is going to do. To achieve that, you must have a thorough understanding of the indications displayed on the PFD, and in particular, the upper portion of the PFD, the Flight Mode Annunciator, or FMA. We'll begin our discussion with the AFCS controls you're going to be using most frequently, the Flight Guidance and Control Panel. The FGCP consists of two major sets of AFCS controls: the general AFCS system, subsystem, and mode selection controls, located in the center of the panel, and the individual captain and first officer's flight director display and nav source controls, located on each end of the panel. Most of these controls are related to the operation of the various AFCS modes and will be discussed in more detail in the lateral and vertical modes modules. So let's just do a quick overview of the mode-related controls and then take a closer look at the autopilot controls. Beginning in the center general section of the FGCP, let's take a look at the controls associated with the lateral and vertical modes. The lateral mode engagement controls are located in the column just to the left of the center of the panel. Of these 5 buttons, only 3 of them, heading, nav, and back course, select just a lateral mode. The other 2, approach and standby, select both lateral and vertical modes. The heading knob just to the left of this column of buttons is used only in conjunction with the mode selected with the heading button.
The vertical mode engagement controls, located in a column just to the right of the center of the panel, are used to engage the vertical modes to hold either indicated airspeed, vertical speed, VNAV, or altitude. The pitch wheel in the center of the panel is used primarily with the vertical speed mode, but can also be used to adjust the aircraft's attitude when in the basic pitch hold mode.
The altitude select knob is used to select the altitude target for the vertical modes. This altitude target is always displayed in cyan just above the PFD altitude tape. The speed hold push button is only used in conjunction with the approach mode on those aircraft that are Cat 3 capable. It's a very restrictive mode and will only engage when the aircraft is in the landing configuration, power lever is between 37 degrees and 49 degrees, the autopilot is engaged and coupled to the ILS, and the airspeed is less than 140 knots. The 2 FD push buttons located in the lower left and right of the panel are primarily used to deselect the display of the flight director guidance bars on either the captain's or first officer's PFD. If the bars are not displayed, Pushing the respective switch displays the associated flight director indications. The captain's and first officer's nav source controls, located in the upper left and right corners of the panel, are only used in conjunction with the nav and approach modes. We'll have more on their operation a little later. Okay, that leaves us with just the autopilot, yaw damper, and coupling switches remaining. Selecting the autopilot switch engages all three autopilot servos as well as the yaw damper. When engaged, the green arrows on either side of the autopilot switch illuminate, as well as both green arrows either side of the yaw damp switch. Pushing the autopilot switch a second time disengages the autopilot only, leaving the yaw damper engaged. Without the autopilot engaged, pushing the yaw damper switch engages only the yaw damper. Pushing the yaw damper switch a second time disengages the yaw damper. If the autopilot is engaged, pushing the yaw damper switch disengages both the yaw damper and the autopilot. To summarize, the yaw damper can be engaged without the autopilot, but autopilot cannot be engaged without the yaw damper. Practice engaging and disengaging the autopilot and yaw damper on this panel. Finally, we come to the couple switch. The autopilot is always going to be coupled to either the captain's or the first officer's guidance panel settings, and sometimes to both. At initial power-up, the selection is defaulted to the captain's side, and the green arrow to the left of the switch is illuminated. Subsequent pushes of the couple button switches the coupled side between the captain and the first officer. The other panels used for operation of the AFCS are the captain's and first officer's index control panels. The two ICPs are located at either end of the forward instrument panel. The ICPs contain the controls used for changing altimeter settings, setting the value and type of approach minimums, DH or MDA display, and defining and adjusting the speed target. The ICP speed target controls are used to select the source of the speed target and, when the source is manual, to adjust the speed value. The speed target is always displayed, and only displayed, on the PFD speed tape as both a bug and a digital readout. The default setting for the speed target is the manual mode, indicated by a cyan speed bug and digital readout. When in the manual mode, the speed value is adjusted by rotating the speed target knob. Pushing the ICP Auto Manual Select switch switches the speed target to the auto mode. In the auto mode, the speed bug and digital readout on the PFD speed tape are magenta. The target speeds in the auto mode are calculated by the FMS. The baro set knob is used to set current altimeter setting. The altimeter setting is displayed in cyan just below the PFD altitude tape. The altimeter setting is displayed in both inches of mercury and hectopascals. Pushing the baro set knob sets standard barometric pressure and replaces the inches of mercury hectopascals display with a cyan standard. Approach minimums are selected for display on the PFD using the lower DH MDA knobs. The outer knob is a two-position knob that selects either DH or MDA. The inner knob sets the value of the selected setting.